Thank you for joining us on our journey here to preserve the history of mixed martial arts. When I wanted to take on this project, I needed help. I brought in one of my favorite matchmakers, Miguel Iturrate, and the MMA detective, Mike Davis. So to do this, we've been able to preserve history. Welcome and enjoy. Okay, welcome back to the Lytes Out podcast. Yes, thank you everybody for another fantastic episode. You know this is my favorite time. You know this is what we do, the deep dives. And we have a special guest for you guys tonight. Man, everybody who loves the sport of mixed martial arts knows this guy. Guy's been around forever. I mean, this guy's even been around longer than me. I'm an old guy. He's not, I mean, we're both old guys, but this dude is a legend of the sport of Oleg Taktarov. Oleg, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. How you doing, sir?
Thank you, legend, for having me. You're a kid. I mean, honestly, it's like I'm sorry.
That's too funny.
You're still young, man. I mean, you still have all your life ahead of you. Come on.
Mike, man, go ahead and start. I know you love you had a ton of questions. Mike's been playing already. Mike, what you got for me, buddy?
So Oleg, so we look at your Wikipedia, we look at your body of work, watch your fights.
Yeah.
Is it missing a lot?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. So we're going to start with, all right, so the UFC was you fought an event 1 month before the UFC event debuted in Latvia called White Dragon. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. Was this in a ring or in a cage?
No, I was in a circus. It's a big circle. No, it's just a circus, like where the tigers would perform or bears. And there was really no rules, like completely no rules. When first UFC started, there was no eye gouging or biting. Over there, you could do anything. Like, for example, I watched the first fight, and I see one guy's out, and another guy just got his head and hitting with his head on this. It's called parapet, that thing around the circle, you know? So it's like a wooden part of the...
Like a pew.
Yeah, like a curb, yeah, like wooden curb. Yeah. He's hitting it with the head. And the referee just standing there, he doesn't know what to do. I'm like, oh, fuck. And I'm going to fight here. Like, what are you doing? You're nuts, and maybe you should go home. And I was like, no, that's what I want to do. I want to film this. I want to win this. I want to bring this video to the United States. I want to show it to Hollywood producers and say, hey, guys, let's start a new approach. Let's fight for real in the movies. Of course, I was silly. I mean, I didn't know that makes no sense. If actor gets hurt, there's no actor, so no star.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so wait, real quick, Miguel. So your fights, like the White Dragon, it's in Latvia. So his fights are White Dragon Day 2, White Dragon Day 3. Was there a White Dragon Day 1 that you fought on, or were you only fighting on 2 and 3? Because it looks like a tournament.
It's a 2 days tournament, yeah. In the second day, actually, it was pretty, it could be very boring if it was not me trying to get the footage, because I won my guy in the final in probably like minute and a half. So he decided to take me on the ground, and he decided to even get the ankle lock on me, and I got mad, and I tortured him a little bit, and then I arm locked him. And actually, it was some heinous move. I don't want to even talk about it. And he tapped out, and all the people there, the full circus, they wanted more. And I say, hey, can you bring 2 karate guys, like anybody, any strikers, and let them fight me, like and tell them they can do whatever they want, but I'm not going to punch back. So there is a footage of me fighting with those kids. There was like...
What did you get paid for that?
I was businessman at that time, so I could pay even for the footage, but the price was, I think, $10,000, which of course I share with my partner, my friend who came with me, who also ended up in the final. But we didn't get the money. Everything, it was like a big crime organization. There were like criminals who controlled the guy who put all this together. and this guy tried to run away with the money, with the purse money, with the all money. So my friends stay until he got the money back. They got the guy. He was like trying to, go through the border, got all the money, and they didn't take any commissions, by the way. Thanks to those guys. My friend got 10 grand. I said, hey, buy some little Russian car. It's cost like 3 and 4 grand, and just try to get here by car. So you always dream about to have your own car. So he got a car, but he never had a driver license. So that was a funny. I mean, it's like winter.
Unnecessary.
Was the promoter's name Brad Kohler? No.
Yeah, Brad Kohler done.
Hey, Oleg, let me ask you, because
Inside joke.
It is. It's a good one.
Brad Kohler is a crazy American promoter who does crazy things like that. But let me ask you now, in the old days in Russia, you like you describe it, fighting in a circus, and it gets crazy. But there also were guys like, Mikhail Ilyukhin, maybe Maxim Tarasov, even Igor Vovchanchin.
My Maxim is my partner, my younger brother. We are from the same club, from small city.
Okay.
He was working in the bank. He got like 2 educations. I mean, he could be just a nerd if you look at him. But he got bored working at the bank, and he saw me winning, and he started fighting, and he got 2 world titles, one in Brazil, another I think in Moscow. Yeah.
That's what I was getting, is that there were early Russian fighters that were high-skill guys, Why don't you describe, like, the difference between those guys? Like you, Maxim, Vovchanchin, and then the other crazy guys that didn't know much.
We train as a madman, as a maniac. We never, when we would never think about, like, trash talking or anything else like that. You supposed not to show any pain, and if you lose, you gotta go back and win. You gotta do whatever you want. You gotta take revenge. You just gotta win. That's it. I mean, you rather die, but you have to win. If you
okay, so part of your Wikipedia, which is incomplete, it says you fled Latvia around this event because of political unrest. Is that true?
Yes. When we were passing the border, we didn't have a visa. We actually didn't know that we got to get the visa. I said, hey, fuck it. Let's just get on the train and let's see what's going to happen. So the custom police asked us to leave the train. So while we were in the room, we see somebody's kicking a punching bag. And my friend, he liked to show off. He started doing high kicks, and the custom officers were so impressed with him. They asked, like, hey guys, what's going on? We say we want to go for the White Dragon, want to participate in it. All right, guys, just keep your passports here and go fight, win, and come back. We'll give you passports back, and I hope you guys gonna win. I said, okay, thank you, that's great. So we left, and then it was after we won. My friend took a mic and I said, I was arrested. Like the same day when we have to fight, we've been arrested, and the cops told us I look like somebody who just got run away from a prison. And my friend said, what the fuck are you talking about? Look at his neck. His neck is like, and look at the guy's neck. It's like, come on, God, don't insult Oleg. So anyways, they punched us a little bit, and our coach, the guy who was escorting, going with us for this tournament, he got beat up real bad, and my friend got upset. We got released probably like 1 hour prior to the event, so we made it on time. And my friend was really mad. I said, "Shut up! Don't make the drama out of it. Let's just get the money and leave the country." No, of course, he just made, hey, somebody. Those guys who punched my coach, come on here, I will rip you apart. I will fuck you right there in the corner. So anyways, we got a phone call. Guys, you got to leave the republic. You got to leave the country. If you don't leave it, no one will find your grave. So we changed the hotel. We went to some apartment. Our friends, we met there help us. There was some adventure. Some adventure. There were some girls.
Was this like a political civil war?
It was, yeah. Because Soviet Union was falling apart, and of course that little country want to get the maximum, and the easiest way to get separation to express nationalistic ideas. Yeah. So you just it's like anti-Russian.
Yeah, they were anti-Russian, giving you a hard time because you were Russian.
Sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Also, they all were Russians. They all been Russians, but just with different passports. Yeah.
Oleg, when you did that, how long have you been training when you had those fights in the White Dragon? Have you been training for a long time?
I started when I was at age 10, and I competed so many tournaments. Sometimes I would have to fight 5 fights a night, but it's childhood, youth. Then 2 years in the army, and army was not going very well. So I spent probably more than 1 year in the wilderness and in the forest. Well, I mean, anyways, it's still adventurous. I still love it. I mean, right now I look at this, like at that time I was upset that I couldn't train. I mean, I did train. I run in the forest. I would put the guy on my shoulders, like 100 kilograms, and run with him. I wrestle with the young soldiers, just get a couple strong ones, and I say, guys, do whatever you want. I would chop the woods. I would, do all kind of crazy shit just to get myself in shape. But it's still not the same shape when you train. So you're still big, you're still strong, you're good condition, but there is no sense of the fighting. So it took me probably 2 years until I get some result when I was out of army. So
was this like a punishment from the army, or was this your assignment?
It was a punishment. I like I said, I was maniac when it comes to training. So instead of running for 20 minutes at 6 a.m. with other soldiers on the plaza, on a square, like in army, singing the stupid songs, I would leave. I would just wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, jump over the fence, and run in the snow to the bus station and get the first bus. And it would take me like 35 minutes to my school. And I would get the complete nice training for 2 hours. And I was caught by 8 o'clock in the morning. Somebody found me been sweat. You feel that the guy been already training so hard, and like that's it. So
I ratted you out, man.
Yeah, you got to be punished for it.
They told on you.
Yeah.
Man.
So that was a.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris. All right. So the one thing about mixed martial arts back in the early days is there was a lot of pageantry, and part of it was when they announced people's names, they always announced like certain tournaments that people had won. And you were announced as the 1994 Iron Gladiator champion. I found nothing anywhere about Iron Gladiator. What was that in particular?
Me neither. I do not know. I had a manager, by Abbott. He would come up with all kinds of stuff. I won 4 times European and Asian Jiu-Jitsu. Everything goes. It's called irigumigo, like a full contact. Basically in the gi with the stops if you get on the ground, and but basically it's like everything goes but in the gi. So we call it Jiu-Jitsu. And there was people from many countries. I won it 4 times. And it was taped, so I got all those videos. And the 5th trophy was that White Dragon. That's it, 5 championships, 3 fights on each one. So it's 15 fights in MMA in the no rules. And all the fights before, they were either judo or either sambo. So that's my story. Nothing special.
Okay, so then you come to the United States, and the story is that we're being told is that you go to Royce Gracie's academy, and he doesn't allow you to roll with him. He makes you roll with his students. And while rolling with the students, you qualify for the team.
Students, yeah.
But you have to pay a fee, like you have to pay in order to continue to roll with the students as well as him. Is that correct?
Rorion asked me for $30 to train. And at that time, I had no money, all gone. And I don't remember what I told him. I said, hey, I was trying to say, hey, you help me with the movies. I help you with some moves you guys do not know. Basically, I meant leg locks, some samba technique. Of course, he looked at me like I'm just bragging and some nobody. And he let me roll with the guys. They all were black belts, and they were nothing special. So he went straight to our daily office while I was taking a shower, and he was there in a gi across the street in a WOW promotion. And I thought that he's telling how good I am. I thought that he's telling, hey, Art, you should sign the guy, and he's good. You know, he rolled with my top black belts, and he dominated them completely. And instead, Art David told me after, like a few years after, that he said, no, don't sign up this guy. He's nobody. He's like nothing special. And I was the third guy Rorion said you should not get on to UFC. It was Alexander Karelin, Olympic wrestler, and Michael Tyson. That's what Art told me. And I was in a great company. I was the third guy. And at that time, Rorion already sold his 25% of the ownership, so he couldn't control organization. And Art started picking up the much stronger guys, not the guys that would be suitable for Royce to win. Of course, it's very hard jobs to find those guys. Like you know that fight with the chemo, they thought it would be like a piece of cake. But you know, it was still tough.
Right. So,
yeah.
So you go.
And the idea of a first super fight was, so I would not fight Royce. So they came up with an idea. So Ken Shamrock would fight Royce in a super fight, and I'll be in
the tournament
to UFC in the championship.
Yeah.
So,
tournament. Yeah.
So in that UFC 5. Did you train with Lions Den in preparation for that?
For UFC 6, for UFC 5, somehow I got ticket to fly to Texas through Las Vegas. I was like, it was so many tickets straight, nonstop, but I got the flight because it was some cheapest ticket they could find, $130, I believe. And I went to Texas. I meet Guy Metzger. Guy Metzger have no idea about ground wrestling. He's a kickboxer. I got a place to stay. No one speaks English there. So like some people from Africa, some people from Mexico. I'm from Russia, and I got the worst room with the boiler, like noisy. Well, I lost all my weight. I had torn every single ligament I had. I was 187 pounds. After I trained there for 2 or 3 weeks, and the Texas food, Southern food, nachos, hot chili, sauce, and ice cold water. I mean, that's not what I used to eat. And I'm like, I mean, also I couldn't speak any English. I was like, shit. I mean, why am I doing this? Like my first question, why am I here? But anyway.
Okay, so you trained with Guy Metzger for UFC 5.
So Guy Metzger and some judo guys. I rolled with the judo guys. I remember I had 8 people, and they were okay, decent guys, but no competition. But the last one somehow able to torn my ligament. So I that's how I got problems with both knees. So I had the right leg, and then I got the left leg everything torn, and I have to fight in a UFC 5, and I can't warm up. I mean, I can't run. I can only walk slowly, make sure nothing pops out, and that's my condition where I have to fight. 187 pounds. Wow. I remember I was training, teaching some guy, and he gave me $40 for a private lesson, and I got chicken. So I got chicken in my refrigerator from Food for Less. So that's so hungry all the time. People right now use all kind of supplements. I mean, my best supplement was the chicken in the refrigerator, because normally I would eat. Guys after training would say, "Hey, let's go, guys, to some restaurant." And some guys with the money, "Hey, I pay for everyone, or I pay for Oleg," and that's how I would.
That's not hard. That's very difficult.
Interesting experience. Buddy Alvin, my manager. Thank you so much.
So your first fight was against Ernie Verdecia, which you won by submission, and your next fight was against Dan Severn. In your fight against Dan Severn, I was surprised that he continued like punching you with an open hand, like he was connecting. He never closed his fist, and I thought within the first few minutes that leg lock that you had him in looked very, very tight. How close was that leg lock, and how was your experience?
No, it was an arm lock action.
Was it arm lock? Okay, I apologize.
Leg lock, the first fight was arm lock. The second fight was a leg lock.
Was it a leg lock?
Knee bar.
Okay.
And I couldn't finish it because I was too tired after a fight with Mark Ruas. But the first fight, if UFC had the rules not to hold the fence, I definitely would submit him with arm lock, because I had a perfect arm lock situation. Although I looked scared because my blood was dripping in my eyes, so there was like two little lakes of blood. So of course it doesn't look good. That's why John McCarthy stopped the fight. But I had a perfect arm lock situation, and the only reason why I couldn't submit him because he was holding fence. That's it. Otherwise, if you watch the video, you can see it. So I was really mad. This was the only time in my life probably I really wanna fight. That's why for UFC 6 I came ready. I came hungry. I came as a real true fighter in my mind, not somebody who wants to get into acting business.
So UFC 6. Did you then transition to Lions Den? Because I'm looking at like the Shamrocks in your corner at some point.
Yeah. Me and Ken and everybody's in Lions Den. Frank Shamrock and all Jerry Boulder and Pete Williams, bunch of guys. I mean, they were great training partners. They helped me a lot. I could train there. And the food was great. I mean, I finally could eat as much as I want, and I got some supplements, some protein shakes. So I got my weight up to like 230 pounds of all muscles. So I recover perfect. I mean, I was ready to go. Yeah, except one thing, I didn't know what to do when you get to Wyoming in a high altitude. I didn't know what actually is to fight in the mountains. And especially at that time, I would drink tea and try to drink less water as possible, because that's what I was told by my coaches in the judo and sambo, because your arms would get swollen. Yeah, it makes sense for a short fight, but for a UFC fight, you have to drink pure water. You have to have enough in your system. So the reason why I ended up in the hospital after checking out Tank Abbott was not because of anything else or injuries. I didn't have many injuries except he torn some inside of my mouth. I had missing almost a gallon of water in my system. So
you're dehydrated.
Completely dehydrated.
Okay, so Ken Shamrock in his book about you mentions that there was a language barrier when you were living with him, and I think Bob Shamrock was there as well.
Of course,
and they said that you had a raw chicken that you would leave on the counter, and you preferred to eat your chicken raw but you would leave it out as well. And they would look at themselves like there's something wrong with him, and we're trying to communicate, but you prefer to leave your chicken out on the counter and eat it raw. Is that correct, or is it just a story?
It's just story. Like people like to come up with this.
Okay.
Scary Russian, eat the, drink fresh blood,
So Bob Shamrock, how much interaction did you have with him, and how much of a role did he have in your training?
He was not my manager. He just a nice guy. He let me stay in the fighter's house. So he was not really around me anytime. So I couldn't understand what he was saying. He was a nice guy, and he helped the fighters. He actually created this little community, paid for everything. But that's about it. That's all I know. Nice guy, but that's it.
Okay, so in UFC 6, your second fight was against Anthony Macias. You and Anthony had the same manager, Buddy Alvin, somebody that you had mentioned earlier. Buddy Alvin was in your corner for that fight, and you tapped Anthony Macias out with a guillotine in 9 seconds. Was that a planned event in order to kind of pass you on to the next round against Tank Abbott a little bit more fresh? Or was it just a set of circumstances that presented themselves?
Anthony never admitted. I asked him after. We never been friends since, like you said, the English barrier. And I was not in Texas anymore. Anthony came twice to train with us. And he was a quite annoying guy, like a Daffy Duck. He just want to fight, and you tap him. He wants to fight again. He wants to learn, but I couldn't understand what he was trying to do. I was tired in Texas. I constantly, I just want to have less communication. I want to have less people around me. It was like too much. So to me, he stays in my memory as the annoying guy. But later, of course, we became friends. And I asked him, why did you do this? Why did you jump in my He didn't say anything. I heard that Buddy Alvin supposedly, told him that you have to lose, but I have no information about it. So to me, it was very upsetting because it was like so easy. Like, excuse me, I would win you anyway. I mean, you don't have to help me. That was like my look towards him. Like, why? Like, what was that? I mean, I don't need that kind of help. And I know what happened with Pat Smith, because at the interview, like I said, my English was very poor, and I knew just a few words. And I said, I wanna. Pat Smith is a violent guy. I see him. Alvin was putting elbow on somebody who was already out. I think it's not right. It's not human, and I should pay him back. I should pay him back. I'm gonna break both of his ankles. I'm gonna break of both of his knees, and I'm gonna break both of his elbows, so he would not be able to hurt people anymore. That was my interview, and I guess Pat Smith really believed it. I guess I was a good actor at that time, so I believed it. And he came up with some kind of strange pain in his stomach, and so that's how I got Anthony Macias. I was supposed to fight Pat Smith. Unfortunately, and it was Anthony, and we still have the question: why Anthony did this jump basically in the choke position?
It could have been his way out as well. You know what I mean? It could have been an easy way out, on his end. And
it could be, yeah. It could be, yeah.
In regards to UFC debuts, the person you met in the finals, Tank Abbott, this was his UFC debut. You couldn't have made a better impression, like with the general public, than Tank Abbott. And the story wrote itself. I mean, you got American from California, guy from Russia fighting each other in the finals. And it was odd because everyone seemed to be rooting for the Russian in that bout.
Yes and no. I mean, first of all, I have to thank again Tank Abbott. I mean, he's a great man. He's a character, and if he was not so bad, I would not be so good. So he made me look great in this fight. If I would win somebody else, if let's say I would win Dan Severn, it would not be such a big deal. But Tank was such a baddie. I mean, when we had the ultimate in, I think it was in Denver, Colorado, and Bob Myers, the first owner of UFC, was watching with his own eyes. Half of the audience left the arena after David Tank Abbott lost. That's how popular he was among the bad guys, among the, yeah.
Wow.
The Harley Davidson riders and all the Hell's Angels, yeah. So I gotta thank him for my popularity. Yeah.
So after that, you fight in Buffalo, New York for UFC 7, where you fight Ken Shamrock, somebody that you've trained with. How difficult was that fight? Like to take it because you guys were rolling together.
Because I remember. Yeah, I mean, I thought Ken is my friend, my dear friend, because he helped me in a worst situation when I was basically dying in Dallas, Texas, with no proper training. And he invited me to, I mean, of course, he wanted me to help him before the fight with the hoist, but for me, it was a blessing. And one day, Ken called me, Oleg, come here. I'm like, excuse me? Come here, boy. So, Oleg, we can, we can train together. I said, why? Because we're gonna fight. Are we? Yeah. Ken, come on. And we agree that you're gonna fight Tank and I'm gonna fight Dan because I wanna kick his ass bad. I mean, I think it's reasonable. No, he said. Bob Myers said that it's makes sense. You're a champion. You're fighting against me. I mean, whatever you want, but Ken, you're not gonna win, and I'm not gonna try to win because I wanna be in the ultimate because I wanna face Dan in the final. I mean, it's gonna be great revenge, and it means something for me. I don't care about UFC. I don't care about the money, but I wanna beat Dan so bad. And he looked at me like, I mean, of course, he had his own idea about me winning or losing, but I knew my ground was little bit better. And stand up, we both were sucks when it comes to punching. At that time, I didn't take any boxing classes, so I knew it's going to be a boring fight, and I'm going to try to hold him, to tie him, and nothing's going to happen. So that's exactly what happened. Well, that's how much I wanted to win in the ultimate. So I would take to the draw, basically a money fight at Buffalo, New York. I think it was 12,000 people watching it. It was a big thing. I mean, I didn't understand it. To me, like I'm fighting to my friend who just has some wrong idea at that time, and later he'll understand he made a mistake. Of course, he understood, but it was too late.
Yeah. So in the ultimate, you started with the rematch against Dave Beneteau, and then you fought Marco Ruas. And in that fight,
my favorite fight so far.
We got to see more of your stand-up against Ruas, and your knee looked like it came out in that bout. Is that correct?
A lot.
Yes.
And you would you would put it right back in. Okay. So
is that the same original knee? It's like that you had mentioned you had bad knees from training. Is that the same? You never healed? It was always like you were always fighting gimpy?
Yeah. It was a right knee that was torn in Texas by the 8th judo guy I've been rolling with. Like I said, I was so tired. I wanted to release my leg, and I was so tired to do it properly. I just decided to pull it out, and it didn't work. He did some strange move, and I torn my knee. Yeah, and I always say I admire Mark Ruas so much. I mean, it's beyond belief. I mean, it's beyond anything. I mean, I always say this is an example of fighters of my era. The guy was watching me. He let me fix my knee, pop it back, and then we continue fighting. That's a heart. That's a class. That's a culture. That's just a humanity. I mean,
Hey, that's what I love about
sportsmanship. Yeah, everything.
The old school fighters.
See many
like,
people in UFC. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't see many fighters like this. Actually, I don't see any fighters like that.
Yeah, I don't think
Not
Tank
anymore.
would have given you that chance.
You see, yeah, these days you're out and people continue punching you. I mean, that's normal. And at that fight, Marco Ruas did with this thing. He's like, step back, like, they can fix it, and we continue. Wow, that's a gentleman's fight. I mean, this is a classic. And
there was
so I won, and the reason why I let him, the reason why I let him to have a chance in Brazil to beat me, because of this move, because of him letting me, because of him being a gentleman. So I said, okay, fuck it. I will go to Brazil. I will let him look good, try to look good in front of his audience. Actually, it was a very interesting story about that fight also as well, because I told his manager, Federico Lapenga, okay, 29 minutes, you want me to be on my feet. Okay, I'll do it. You pay me double. Done. But on a 29 minutes, my manager will say, 29 minutes, I can take him down on the ground and I can do whatever I want. Okay. And they thought that I'll be killed by that time. So when 1 minute left, I took him down. I've shown like 3 different techniques I could possibly do. I'm not sure I would finish him or not, but I've shown him like I could go here, I could go here, could go here. And that's it. Fight ended. And when everyone left the arena, Federico put the lights so you couldn't see the audience. So like nobody, you got the lights on an octagon or a ring, and he filmed the referee with his hand up, and took Marco Ruas' hand, and so it was a little tricky Brazilian business. Of course, later when the video came out, everyone understood that it was no contest or draw.
So it wasn't predetermined that it was going to be a draw. Is that what you're saying?
No. They want to win. Marco want to kill me. I mean, he felt bad. I guess everyone was, press everybody like, hey, you lost Oleg, you didn't show enough heart. So he want to win. And Federico, of course, wants his fighter. He was manager of Marco Ruas. Of course, he wants to build up a legend. No, I mean, I felt I was pretty good at that time. I felt very comfortable with anyone.
Well,
honestly,
we talked about your first match, and we're kind of skipping that. But 2 weeks after your rematch with Marco Ruas, you fought Renzo Gracie.
Vice versa. I fought Renzo Gracie 6 days or 8 days after I fought Marco Ruas.
Right, that's right. So that Marco Ruas fight was, Chris, Miguel, I'm telling you, like I watched the whole thing. It looked like a bare knuckle boxing event, and Ruas, in my opinion, like if you look at the damage, total damage, Oleg took a lot of damage in that fight. And when they announced the Renzo Gracie bout, as a fan of Oleg and thinking, God, someone's going to get the Gracie, someone's going to expose him. Like I'm like looking, thinking the gods of war that Oleg is going in there against Renzo. But then I watched the Marco Ruas rematch, and I couldn't believe that you were able to even step in the ring that night based on the totality of the damage you had against Ruas.
It's just the way I was raised. You give a word, you keep it, and sometimes you just have to be more tricky in this thing. I had my hand broke, like right here.
For sure.
In the Mark Ruas fight. He broke his hand in 10 minutes. I broke my hand over his forehead on 17 minutes. And I couldn't understand what's going on there. Like I couldn't shake his hand. And the guy who put the money for Mars, that hence the Gracie fight, he was a doctor. And I told him, hey, can you please look at my hand? I mean, something is wrong. I mean, I can't squeeze it. And he looked at this. I see something is moving there. He said, no, it's okay. I took X-ray when I got home, and there was a bones just flowing. So so there was a criminal act on his part, but I never sued him. I never actually even tried to contact him, because this was not the worst thing. Because I still would probably fight Gracie with one hand and still be okay. It still could be, no contest or something. I mean, I saw no way I could lose that fight. But we had a two interesting men promoters. One was a Tom, another don't remember what his name. So those guys, they did something that no one in the MMA community, in the MMA promotion should never do. They hire a manager in Miami who got the guy, Alex Rafalski, who was not a fighter. He was a veteran of Afghanistan war. Concussions, being in prison. So that was just his way to get close to the fighters. And 2 hours before the fight, we're drinking tea. He said, "Oh, this is Russian tradition. Let's sit all in a rounded table. Let's drink a tea and to good fight." And all the guys who fought that night, they were not professional fighters. There were some taxi drivers, someone masseuse, some construction workers, and just got names. So they want to show that Samba is bad. But none of those guys were Samba guys except me. And then 30 minutes before the fight, they come to me, Oleg, I mean, I feel so sleepy. Like before I was nervous, now I feel like I don't give a fuck. I mean, I feel like I don't care what's going on. Like I want to just go sleep. I said, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's always like this. You'll be okay. Once you get in the ring, we'll be fine. But I'm asking myself, yeah, you're right. Why am I feeling like I'm just somewhere, I'm not sure where, like I'm living different life. So basically that fuck put sleeping pills or I'm not sure what he put in this tea. And the whole team, not me, whole team were like on drugs. And I still have no idea why they would have to do this, because those guys would lose anyways. They had no idea about the ground fighting. And in my case, I mean, with a broken hand, I tried to get the leg of Apianza, but I couldn't hold the leg. I'm like, and I had a really strong grip. And I'm like, fuck, it can't happen. I mean, come on. I mean, nobody would get the leg out of my hand. So I concentrate on this grip so much with my useless hand, and that's how I got the kick in the chin. So it was out. But like I said, later I found a big reason behind all of it. I had a manager who was drug addict. He was always with the red eyes, with his nose running, and I was asking him, like, what's going on with you? Like, why you? I had a lot of work. I had to sleep. I didn't sleep. And everyone in the MMA community knew that he's a drug addict. And they would give him under the table like a few grand to buy drugs. And he could get me anywhere. That's how I got to Hensa fight in 8 days after Marco Ruas. And that's how I got to Goodrich, Japan, in I think 9 days after winning Sean Alvarez in Brazil. So I had no intention to go to Pride. I was having fun. I had a blast. I had the money. I had 2 girls first. They met me with the best pickup line. Me and my friend, we bet, are you Brazilian or not? I said, girls, this is the best pickup line. Okay, I'm yours, guys. You can do whatever you want with me. So eventually, yeah.
So you also fought, you mentioned Joe Charles. That was Renzo's top student at the time. Did you? Oh, you didn't even know that. Wow. I figured it was kind of like a revenge match or something of that nature.
No, Joe was.
No.
Sean Alvarez was.
Sean Alvarez was.
Sean Alvarez. No, I didn't know about it. No. I was told that he was a bodyguard for some prince, I was told that he's really good on the ground, but he didn't knew that I was taking boxing lessons for 8 months at Freddie Roach gym, and he didn't know that my boxing is completely different. So he wanted to box with me, and I let him believe that he can reach me. So I let him touch my lip a little bit, like. And then next time he went with the jab, and he put all his body behind it. Even his balance was off. And of course, I did a counter jab. Boom! He was out. You can see it on the video, but he was out. I can see his eyes just rolling. And then I did some fancy shit like under his arm, bam, bam, bam. But he was out actually with this counter jab. That's it.
Man.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Real quick, earlier he was talking about his manager, and I've always felt like the worst thing you can have is a brave manager, but I'm corrected. The worst thing you can have is a brave manager on drugs. It sounds like
drug addict, yeah.
It's not a good thing, man. Bad campaign.
But I fired him after Goodrich fight. I found something is wrong because he would tell me like, Oleg, we have to go. If we don't go, we have to pay penalties. It's we're done. Nobody will ever use you. Blah 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 blah. I said, okay, Michael, shut up. Okay, I'll go.
Yeah.
So I remember like I'm flying from Japan. I'm so happy. I'm like, you know what? I think that's the right thing for me because I want to get into acting, and I was studying at the Playhouse West, and all those fighting, all those preparations, that would take time from acting lessons. And I'm like, hey, Oleg, you got to be serious. You love it. You got to put yourself into this. So in a certain way, I was happy that that's how it ended.
Okay, so was this manager, I mean, obviously we're not naming names here. Was he from Ohio?
No, he was from LA.
LA, okay, fair enough. Okay, so from there, you also fought Chuck Kim.
Chuck E. Cheese, Chuck Kim,
yeah. What do you recall from that bout?
It was, they wanted me to win, I guess. They could get somebody stronger because I see him, before the fight, I see the food, I see the rabbit that's been cooked with a nice spices and just on the plate.
Yeah.
He was so scared to get in there. I'm like, why? I mean, guys, you got to give a good show. You could give me somebody I would have some little problem with, not like that.
Okay, so you're talking about a show. Chris, guess who else was on that same card?
I got no idea. Who you got there, Mike?
Gokor versus Bill Maeda.
Oh, let's not go there, guys. Okay, guys. I'm not gonna say anything about it.
Okay. Interesting fight.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you though. Let's go back to that fight in Brazil in Pentagon Combat because
that was Sean Alvarez.
Yeah, that show was famous because it ended in a riot. So talk about what you remember from that because Jerry Bolander, you mentioned earlier, he was there and he told me there were gunshots and there were chairs flying everywhere.
Okay.
Why don't you guys share your memory?
I told Jerry, Frank Shamrock, and all other guys, including Vern Tiger White, I said, shut up and sit here. We're not leaving dressing room. Because what happened is, I want to see that fight what was a Renzo
and Eugenio
Tadeusz, yeah. And I see there is like a tunnel right straight to the I think it was Pentagon. And I'm like, wow, Brazilian people are like German, you know, they are just okay. If you tell them they make a line, they make a line. I'm like, I see like the perfect, you know, nobody. So I'm just like, I walk there, I'm watching the fight, and I see somebody pull the knife, and I poked with the knife back, I think, of either hands. Yeah, I think, yeah, poked the hands first. Then I see the punching started, and I see some other stuff, and I wanna, and I'm like, and I look around, and I see everybody's looking at me. Of course, they were looking at each other, but I'm in the middle. And I understood what's going on because the chairs start flying and they would hit each other. And they fly in my head. I'm like, shit. So I run and I see gunshots. I mean, I hear gunshots, and I'm running like pop, 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 pop. So I'm getting into our changing room, and the guys want to see what's going on there. I said, no fucking way. I just been there. We're sitting here. I locked the door. I said, and we stayed there for 3 hours. And what we saw after, there was, I don't know how many people got injured, but they broke everything what was there. Everything was destroyed. Yeah.
What started it? Like, in your opinion, like, what did you hear? Like, what started it?
I know exactly what happened. Renzo was fighting on his back. And somebody from Luta Livre guys wanna kind of, hey, that kind of pussy, get you on your feet. I mean, because everybody was already around the Pentagon, so there was no way to watch the fight. I mean, until you're just around it. So all the crowd was trying to get in there. So, and I saw that somebody got the knife and start poking his back with the knife. And I guess the jiu-jitsu guys got a knife or punched the guy or something like that. That's how it started. Wow. That's at least what I saw.
I remember watching that, just going, it was very like Riddick Bowe versus Andrew Galata-esque. Like, it was just pandemonium.
Yeah, like somebody want to lift the hands with the knife, like poking him from another side of the fence. Like, I mean, it's a Brazil.
All right, so you also
nice place.
You also fought for the Kazakhstan National Free Sparring Organization. Was Khabib Nurmagomedov's father any part of that?
No.
He was not. Okay.
No, I made tons of money first day, and the guy who put the money in it called me, Oleg, can you do the second day? Excuse me. Please, I mean, I will have a chance to recover. I can, because people they want to see you. We can sell out the whole arena for the second day. Oh, fuck. I'm like, okay, but you know what? I definitely, I don't want to fight any local guys, but I'll ask people who came with me. So I came to the dressing room. I say, guys, hey, the owner wants to pay money for another fight. Anybody wants me? I won. And I think I picked was the biggest at that time.
Was it McTierney or Marty Hornstein?
McTierney was the first guy.
It was
second
Marty
was Israeli guy. Yeah. First one, yeah. I think he did Krav Maga.
Yeah, it's Marty Hornstein.
You see, that's what I love about the old school guys is, fight anyone, anytime, anywhere. It wasn't like the newer guys. I need 3 months off. Oleg fought back to back.
Oh, crying, yeah.
It's like poor Modi Hornstein. He fought Mark Kerr, Mark Coleman, and Oleg Taktarov. It's like a bad day for the Israelis.
Mark Coleman, at his prime. Oh my goodness! One of those guys were on juice. Mark Kerr. I remember my fight with Mark Kerr. I got this little slap on my neck behind. He had a special move, special technique, kind of like chapping the neck behind. It just paralyzes you. I mean, I imagine how strong was that move when he was doing a Pride or early UFC, when he was a huge machine, spaceman. Whew. I still feel it. I still feel it, honestly.
That bout against Mark Kerr was in the Yamma pit fight tournament, which is one of my favorite events ever to take place in MMA. Oleg, you had like this badass robe walking into the ring. It was all Yamma'd out. Did they give that to you, or did you have that made?
They came up with this. Yamma is actually a Russian name, means the dish. You know? So when you so they tried to kind of recreate the whole hole in the field. Well, I don't know. At the time, it was very hard to start something new. It was so many different trophies, tournaments. Everybody's trying. It was tough.
Yeah, definitely. Now, we had talked about like different locker rooms. Like we talked about Pentagon. What happened in the UFC, Mars. How was the locker room in Pride in Japan?
When I waking up or before?
Before.
I don't think I remember any locker room because I was at the airport before the fight. I couldn't get the visa, so they allow me to stay for 3 days in Japan as a what do you call this, transit visa. So I was at the airport for 2 days, and it was right after Brazil with having some little party with 8 girls in my Sheraton room, for 3 days.
So you had to go there and really be jet lagged, and I mean, you got to be in Japan for like 5 days to get properly acclimated. You went straight and fought.
Well,
That's
Chris,
and
he also partied with 8 girls. He was also dehydrated.
Well, okay, you chose
my
wisely.
opinion. Yeah, my opinion. There should be no girls 1 month and a half if it's important. 1 month if it's less important. If it's extremely important, there had to be 2 months, no girls. That's my opinion. Nobody, and I don't care what anybody say. Fuck them. I mean, they're not profi. Anybody, Tyson, anybody, any athlete would say, any gladiator would say, should be no girls 1 to 2 months before extremely important fights. And I had 8 in the same room where Bill Clinton was staying. That my manager, the drug addict, we got stuck in an elevator in Sheraton. It was not in Copacabana, it was somewhere else, like nice hotel. And he just ran into a reception. I just lost $2 million because I got stuck in the elevator. All right, guys, if we'll give you the best room in our place, the Bill Clinton just stay there. You guys can stay there for 3 days for free. Would you forgive us? Okay. I called those 2 girls that met me with this special line about Brazilian I am or not. And they asked me if they can bring friends. I said, of course. So they brought six other friends. And think about it.
A friend share.
Yeah, think about it, like a couple. He's 80, she's 70, or something like that, like very nice, like Southern style vacation. And then you see like 8 girls running, jumping off the balcony from my room. Topless. That's only English word they knew. Topless. Yeah, that's what I had. I had to go for 3 days.
Very rough.
A rough life. Yeah.
That's very hard.
Thank you guys for support. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm on your team here, but
thank you.
Well,
thank you.
Yeah, that's 8 opponents. That's a lot more than the White Dragon.
That's true. So you also took when you were in Japan fighting for Pride, was there any did you notice any funny business or anything like that happen over in Japan? Because it's kind of legendary that people talk about it.
I had a funny business in Japan every time I was there. For example, you know that lost to Yanagisawa, I did a trick like I showed him, like I'm going for a neck.
Talk about pancreas.
And pancreation, yeah. And I didn't even squeeze my fingers, and then I went straight for a leg lock, and they penalized me with 1 point. They just came up with this out of nowhere. And we're supposed to fight for 15 minutes, and as soon as I got the ankle lock, done, fight is over. So they didn't allow me to do this. And the reason why they did this, because previously, the night before, I had a dinner with Antonio Inoki, and they thought for sure Inoki already bought me out, for sure. And I told Inoki no, until I finish with the pancreation, because I promised those guys, I don't want to talk about New Japan and all the pro wrestling. We had a dinner, by the way. It cost $40,000. Of course, they pay in yen, but it cost $40,000 for 4 people. Of course, there were the fish that you can die from, Kobe beef, but we had a bottle of wine, 152 years old, that was told, some from French castle.
Jesus.
Then, $10,000 just one bottle of wine. That was, Japanese can live a life, I gotta tell you. And, and later, when the pancreas people found that I was loyal, they came to me like, Oleg, hey, please, audience understand that you guys been, we rob you. They feel bad for you. They want you to be king of pancreas. And I look at them like, you know what, guys, you lie me, you lied to me once, you're gonna lie me 10 times after. I just smile, I left, done. Thank you. I don't need it. Yeah. And I didn't want any pro wrestling stuff because I like to do things for real. It's just my thing. It's like bad acting in the films. Doing pro wrestling is like doing some soap opera.
I agree. So, you also took a 6-year layoff before you fought John Marsh for Bodog, which is
hold on
Miguel
a
Urate right here.
You know how I got to the Bodog? The reason the kind of new wind I got from Dolph Lundgren. I had an exhibition fight with Dolph on a Russian TV, yeah. And I was in a great shape at that time. I was running in the mountain while I was filming some film in Sochi. I was in a great shape, and I able to box with Dolph for 5 rounds. It was no single punch connected. I told him, I'm not going to punch you in the face, and you can do whatever you want. And I was like, hey, Oleg, you still can fight. Let's make some money.
Yeah.
And I was like, here's Bodog. Nice. And then right after Bodog was that Yamma thing. So I got more money for each of those fights than probably for all the UFC fights and other fights all together. So it was nice, little paycheck, but I didn't feel I had a fun, especially at Yamma. I see people drinking beer like, hey, Oleg, kick his ass, my man, I like, you know what, I'm not interested. So I couldn't fight for money. For me, it's got to be some bigger reason.
Speaking of bigger reason, Oleg, you were also pronounced dead at one point after I think it was a helicopter crash where you were stranded in the Namibian desert for 2 weeks.
It was more simple. They didn't fly to pick us up. They just left us there to die.
Well, did they just drop you off, or what happened?
A Royal Helicopter Company of Namibia. I mean,
Liberia.
Namibia.
Well, why were you in Namibia though? How do you get to Namibia?
We're shooting a video. I mean, about voodoo tribe, voodoo people, and we want to get some footage of the wilderness. So we pay for the helicopter to fly us and leave us for 2 days in the place where we could get anything, like the Hemsbach, everything was there. Kind of like the mountains, the sand, and everything. So we got enough footage, and we were waiting for this helicopter to fly back, and never came. Later, I found no one paid for the helicopter. There was a bounced credit card. They want to teach us a lesson. There was some English guy who was supposed to put all the money in this event, and he was somebody else. I mean,
how'd you get out of there?
Yeah, so how'd you get out?
We walked.
Crash.
We walked for 2 weeks, little more, on a dry riverbed. We walked north towards Angola border. So we had enough water because when you dig the sand, there's water and you can drink it. And at that time, I learned that you don't need much food because we didn't have any food, and I was okay. I was hungry for 4 days, and then I was happy. Even when they found us. I mean, not found us actually. We probably found them. I saw a chief of the Himba tribe. He was in a Manchester United T-shirt, and the rest was made of I'm not sure from what. No teeth, tall, skinny, smiling from a rock. I said, "Oh fuck, here's people." Anyways, I walk with him. He tried to almost outrun me in the mountains. I stay with him. He looked, "Are you there?" "Yeah, I'm there." I'm still smiling. I was 82 kilograms, so it's like 180 something pounds at that time. So I lost all my weight. I felt great. Yeah, and the rest of the searching team was with other guys, and now me and this guy was almost running. Who's first to get to the place where we had boats waiting for us. Yeah.
So how did you get your food, like during the 2 weeks?
We didn't eat.
You didn't eat for 2 weeks?
Yeah, it was great. It was a great experience. I couldn't eat normal food almost for 3 months after we found people. I couldn't drink anything but water. I couldn't eat anything but just rice with no spices, no oil, or maybe some fish, but no spices also, just something simple food. If I try to drink coffee, I get rash. If I try to drink wine, I get rash. I couldn't eat normal food. I couldn't drink anything, like I said. That was the worst. Like everybody's drinking, everybody's drunk. I can't drink.
Oleg, did you guys all think you were gonna? Did you think you were gonna die? Do you think we're gonna make it out of this? Everybody, I mean,
no. The only time I thought we're gonna die when we went to the wrong direction, because one of the specialists of the wilderness told us, "Let's guys go through the skeleton coast to the ocean, and we're gonna find somebody there." And you know, if you're a good, skillful walker, it's still gonna take 3 to 4 days, but it's a 40 degrees centigrade. It's it's almost
90, 95 degrees.
Yeah, I mean it's almost 100. Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
We walk at night because after 10 a.m. you can't walk. From 10 to 6 p.m. impossible. You gotta find a place to hide. I mean, it's impossible. So almost died there because there was no water. And I said, guys, I'm turning back. Let's come back. I mean, it's not gonna work. So, and when we went back, we found the water. There was a dry riverbed, like I said. I feel like that's it. The water. We had some.
Go ahead. I apologize.
No, we had some pills. It was like kind of like herbs melted in there was in the pills. Like, so basically we had the vitamins and supplements because it was not heavy. And one of the guys had it like with him. So we shared this every day. I had some minerals and vitamins for maybe a week, and in the water. But I came, I was 231, I think. And I left, like I said, I was 182.
Okay. So, and I'm coming from memory, so I might be wrong on this, but I believe, all right, so they knew where they dropped you guys off, but wasn't there like a search and rescue looking for you? If they knew where you were at, then why wouldn't they go and get you?
First of all, it's only one helicopter company, and it's called the Royal Helicopter Company. So what they did to kind of, to stay clean, they send a pilot to Zaire for another job, and the owner of the company was supposed to be shooting some elephants in the bushes. So like he went for a vacation. So they didn't tell us. I mean, they didn't tell probably the searching team where to look for us, and I'm not sure if somebody was really looking for it. I guess they were just waiting if we show up by ourselves, I guess. Also, there was some search team, but they were searching nearby the river, Kunene River, which is a border between Angola and Namibia. Yeah, very interesting river. The biggest crocodiles, like the Nile crocodile, the same size, like more than probably. I mean, they were 6 meters, which is
like 18 feet.
That's huge.
Like it's not just huge; it's unbelievable. I mean,
it's like a whale.
I've seen the biggest crocodiles. I never seen even on TV. I haven't seen the bigger crocodiles that I saw there. Yeah,
That's wild. All right, so coming full circle back to MMA. When you went to Brazil, you rolled with Rickson Gracie. Am I correct?
No, never.
You never went to his gym?
No. I've been to his gym, and actually Rickson doesn't even know about it. He taught me a lesson how to be humble. Because after UFC, I thought I'm the king of the world. And when we met, he said, "Congratulations on your success at the UFC." So I thought my success is just worldwide. It's beyond anything.
Yeah.
But it was just a sentence, "Congratulations on your success at UFC." Just calm me down. It's great.
Well, when you were in Japan, were you surprised that him and Sakuraba never fought each other?
Sakuraba was a tough dude. I mean, somebody who would die but win. So, if I was, you could punch Sakuraba, you could knock him out, but I don't think any Brazilian could submit him. Unless, of course, if Sakuraba put the gi on. It's a whole different story. If you have a gi, you can submit anybody. With no gi, it's a whole different field. I had to learn a new game. I didn't really know what to do with a person who has no clothes on. Yeah.
So let's kind of come back to the Russian aspect of your fight game. Did you ever train with Igor Zhinoviev?
Igor, maybe we did when we was not properly introduced before UFC number 7, maybe. But somehow our relationship was very strange. Somehow it's just before he lost, there was no relationship. When he lost, he felt so guilty. And I came to him and said, "Igor, don't worry about it. I mean, I'm on your side. Shit happens. Nothing bad happened. You lost here. It's not the world fell apart. No, it means you'll be okay. Don't worry about it." So to me, you're still a great guy, and that's how we got some relationship. But before, not. Everybody's behaving at that time. Everybody's behavior at that time was like, "Hey, I want to show to this prick UFC champion who he really is. Like, I don't know, maybe I was acting cocky. Maybe I gave them reason to act like this. I'm not sure, but so everybody wants to prove something, not on the mat, but just with behavior.
Did it surprise you when it came out in the news that he was Jeffrey Epstein's bodyguard?
I found a lot of stuff about him that surprised me. I mean, he's a very interesting person. So we should somebody should interview him and find out what he did with his life, because the way he was making money in New York, I believe that I would personally rather to starve, but not to make money like that. You know, the nightclubs, some very suspicious, notorious nightclubs. It's just it's really nothing compared to other jobs he had. Very interesting guy. Very interesting. I'm not sure what his background, or what he did in St. Petersburg before he came to the United States, but yeah, very strange.
Well, he came over like on a very unique visa as well. I believe he was part of the KGB, much like yourself. And
I would say probably he was criminal.
What's shocking to me is, and I appreciate your openness about this, because people are very almost afraid to talk about it, but it is what it is. This is a life path he chose. It's like whatever he witnessed on that island, it's like maybe you didn't see it exactly, but you knew what happened. And at the very least, you hope it was only prostitution, but we all know that's not true. It's just, it can't be true. And I don't know, it's strange.
A lot of strange things I know, but I will never tell it to anyone.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Speaking of KGB, what about our guy Fedor Emelianenko?
I was not at the KGB. Never in no point in my life that I was in any special forces. I was helping him to train. We had a camp. I was invited to teach them hand-to-hand combat without. Okay. That's the only thing I did. Nothing else.
Okay, because
in fact, I got to brag. One thing I have to say, I was shooting better than all of them. When we had to run, I think it was somewhere around 2 miles, 3 kilometers. So you had to run. You had to crawl somewhere, had to jump somewhere, but basically it's 3 kilometers, and then you have to shoot. And I had the best shooting skills when you're tired, when you gotta catch your breath, because I couldn't get tired at the time. I was running in the mountains was my hobby. I just run. I don't stop, and I could recover my breath 5 seconds. Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah. Nice.
And those guys are missing yeah.
That's good.
Awesome.
That's good.
Fantastic.
Did you ever deal with Fedor?
He's younger than me, and 8 years or 9 years younger, and they were training at Red Bull, I think.
Red Devil.
Red Devil, yeah, Red Devil. So everything was strange. I kind of, Vadim Felkenstein invited me to St. Petersburg to be just a host. I mean, not host, but doing a commentary about fights. And he didn't pay me money. He promised, but he didn't. He didn't get me a hotel. He didn't pay me for my train. And I said to myself, hey, fucker, you think you're smart? Okay, watch what I'm going to do. And I start, instead of doing a commentary about the fights, I was reading my poetry. I was talking about anything, but not about the fight. And he was like, oh, fuck, what this stupid ass is doing? I say, and I was looking at him like,
you didn't pay.
You didn't pay. Yeah.
Yeah, Alexander Emelianenko too. Like it was interesting to see those two come over and kind of adapt into the professional world.
Alexander is a very strange cookie. You know that what he did, right?
Yes, of
When
course.
he was in Chechnya, what he said when he was addressing to me his speech.
No,
well,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, he just everything bad about the person, whatever you can say, that's what he said.
About you?
Yeah, he was asked to say about me because he was in the Republic, and I knew exactly what to ask him, but some strange thing happens all the time with no exception. Once somebody opened their mouth, something happened to them. They lose the career, and no exceptions. It just worked like this in Russia. You open your mouth, bam, you're nowhere. So that's what happened to him. Yeah, he was basically raped by Maeda Ismailov, who's not really. He's not really some even mediocre fighter. He got his ass kicked by Vladimir Mineev, who's okay. He's not best of the best. He's okay, but he got his ass kicked by Vladimir. And that Maeda Ismailov raped Alexander Emelianenko right maybe 2 weeks after he opened his mouth.
Oleg, so I'm kind of an old school fighter, not quite as much as you, but I mean, I still like watching the fights. What do you think about the change and how the sport has developed since you were a fighter?
Of course, more pro wrestling stuff, more just trash and just more talking. But the rules dictate the technique. If you can't have enough time on the ground, if you can't have enough time to grapple, plus with this gloves, it's very hard to submit someone, honestly. So that's people got into striking, but still to be a star, it's something you have to be. You have to have 3 ingredients. You have to be talented, you have to have a hard work, and you have to have luck. And that's what we have. We don't have many stars in the UFC. If you just look at the last 10 years, who are you gonna remember? Just few people.
Yeah.
Connor and Ronda.
Yeah.
Ronda, yeah. In fact, once fighter goes in the movie business, he lose. It's a law. It happens to everyone. Anyone who goes in, like Federer's first loss was after he did the movie in some beef fluke in Thailand, and he lost the fight. Ronda movie, lost the fight. Anybody who was in the film business loses the fight.
I think you have to be so focused on fighting. When you lose that focus, you start focused on movies or other stuff. You have to be 100% dialed in on this is your life, and if it's not, the other person's doing that. I promise.
Yeah, don't go there. Yeah, either you gotta be hungry. Yeah.
So you always wanted to get into the movie business, correct? Because I've watched several things you've been in, but you've always wanted to be in the movies, correct?
Always. The only time I didn't want to be in the movies is that period between me losing to Dan Severn and me fighting to Dan Severn again in Ultimate. That's the only time in my life when I wanted to fight more than I wanted to do movies.
Nice.
So when you get to Southern California, we talked a little bit. You said you didn't want to talk about the Gokor fight, but now you have Gokor there. You have Rickson there. Like, you're a rival of a lot of these guys. Like, the Gracies, you'd fought Renzo, you'd fought Royce, Rickson, Gokor. Like, who was the best out of those guys? Like, besides yourself, like, who did you respect the most once you saw their techniques?
In a certain way, they've all been good, but depends. I mean, if you put Sambugi If you put jiu-jitsu gi, if you put judo gi, if you put t-shirt, a lot of things changes. So everyone has something special about them, but it's got to be a certain situation, certain conditions to it.
Did you like? It seems like when you came over, when you were with Ken, Guy, like you were already like with guys your level or you were a higher level, like you were confident with your stuff. Who did you learn from in the States? Did you like? Do you respect Gene LaBelle? Like where are the people that you respect in the States that you learned from?
You know what? Everyone has something to help to your fight game. For example, even with the Ken Shamrock, what we did is we would lift on the morning very hard for 2 hours, extreme weightlifting. And then I would go run, he would go sleep. And the evening, we would wrestle, do some other stuff. So vice versa. Like in Russia, all the weightlifting is after. So it did help me. So I got the muscles, but my technique stayed. And that way can really kind of open my eyes on a new way of training. Speaking of other guys, the most I probably got from two guys, Nino and Liborio. I enjoy to grapple with those guys. One guy was, I'm not sure, 60 kilograms, Nino, and Liborio was about 80 kilograms. And they were tough cookies, a lot of technique. And people want to go.
Nino a Brazilian?
Brazilian, yeah.
Is it Nino
San
Shembri?
Jose.
Yes.
I'm not sure who, but small guy. He was teaching at the San Jose. He didn't speak any English, but once we started to grapple.
Did he fight Sakuraba?
I'm not sure.
Okay, because Nino Shembri fought Sakuraba.
Yeah.
And Nino Shembri submitted. I don't know. Do you remember Alexander Savko, an Olympic wrestler from Russia?
No, can't recall now.
Okay, he was one of the guys from the Abu Dhabi team. You went to Abu Dhabi in 1998. Then Savko was one of their wrestlers, an Olympic wrestler. Shembri arm locked him in Abu Dhabi. Anyway, maybe that was the Nino.
Yeah, but Liborio is legit, man. Legit. American Top Team founder.
Did you talk, we didn't talk about the Abu Dhabi experience. Talk about that. Was that fun? That you went the very first year. Yeah,
it was fun. Nobody wants to go there. They were afraid that the Muslims will kill them. And I said, guys, I mean, it's a nice country. I mean, it's like the Switzerland of Eastern Europe, Mid East. And I think I was probably first who said, okay, I'll go.
Yeah,
I'll go.
It's no Namibia, yeah.
Yeah, I said only one thing I want my coach and my friend to be there, and I want you guys bring them over and get a hotel for us. So I made a great memorable stay for my coach and my friend.
Nice.
That's good.
That's all you can ask there. That's cool.
I don't think I was even getting money for it.
Yeah, no. I think if you fought Bo Hirschberger, and was that your only match? Because I think that's what it is you have to win a couple. I
know. With the Mario Sperry, we had a little fight, and
okay.
There's one more.
That's about it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Good.
Anyways, I kind of warm up there. Like second fight, I was already feeling better. If it was the third fight, maybe I would become a fighter again, because I didn't train at that time, probably for a year or so.
Wow.
Excellent.
Amazing.
Very, very interesting. So, Oleg, are you in the UFC Hall of Fame? What's your relationship with Dana and those people now? Why do they not respect you like you maybe should be respected?
I don't know. I just I think that what was before Dana is should not be in the history. That's what his opinion.
I think you're right.
I think you are in the Hall of Fame, though, right?
The world has been created when Dana took over the UFC. Before was no world, no civilization.
I thought Uran Tank's fight was in the Hall of Fame. Am I wrong on that?
I mean, I was in the top 10 most popular fighters for the first decade, but it's not really important, I guess, for Dana. I mean, I know that Frank Chimka is not there, but he was best probably pound per pound fighter at his prime. And because of the relationship they have, I mean, they don't have any relationship apparently. He's not anywhere in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think they put the fight in, Mike, but like not the person. You know what I mean? It's like.
Did you receive a plaque from them in regards to your Tank Abbott fight?
I didn't receive anything. I was invited.
They wouldn't, and it's not. It's not.
I was invited once for the expo. It was nice, you know. Just was great to see the guys, and that's about it. That's all I got from you.
That's it then. Yeah, no. Exactly. Wow, that's wild. It's a how was your relationship with Art Davie?
A great relationship. We always talk, and if it was not for Art Davie, a lot of horrible things would happen in Russia historically.
Really?
We had some people want to change the history as well in Russia, but Art Davie stepped over and just did some interview, and I said this is how it was, step by step. Yeah, Art Davie actually, it was his choice. I mean, if it was not for Art Davie, I would never be at UFC. It was his choice. He saw that I'm a right prospect for a new type of UFC fighter when there is no Gracie among those 8 men. So the real strong UFC when anybody could win, when you're not trying to promote some sport. So I was lucky. Actually, you know what? I was lucky in a lot of things. You know, even the belt I have. The only 2 golden belts exist. One is Dan Severn got at UFC number 5, because before it was a medal, and another one was mine. And then UFC 7, there was no gold in the belt.
Nice, that's cool. Yeah,
it's interesting.
So let me ask you: with you said Art Davie, then you had a good relationship. What about Bob Meyerowitz?
Also, great relationship. Bob Meyerowitz once took me to, before my fight with Ken Shamrock, he took me to some Italian designer in New York. And think about it. At that time, 1995, I got $5,000 Italian gangster suit.
Nice.
I still have it. I mean, I still have it.
And one more name I wanted to ask you about, because you mentioned it. And you said that Vadim Finkelstein did not pay you. Did Federico Lependa really pay you? Did he really pay you? Because that guy never paid anybody.
He never paid anyone.
That's why we're friends. We're still friends with the Federico. He's my great buddy. I mean, I love him because he's full of energy. He always has some weird ideas, and some of them work. I even got him into some Russian film as a producer, and he helped to shoot some to get some scene which never been done. It was a Russian helicopter landing on American battle warship.
The aircraft carriers. Yeah,
aircraft carrier. Yeah, because he did
was always creative. We interviewed Paul Varlins, and Paul Varlins said Lependa got him a fight in Japan. And he got paid $3,000, and Lependa got paid $7,000.
It's a good deal.
Is it possible?
It's possible. Probably more. Yeah.
That's all we wanted to know. That's good.
You know, we're going to get him eventually. We're going to get around to Federico Lependa because I mean, As much as we like joke around about guys like him, I mean, what he did in Brazil was very special.
Yes.
Especially the World Valley Tudo. Just look at those cards. I mean, you also had mentioned, abstinence before a fight. Pele Landis had actually the opposite approach. He believed that the day of the event, you had to be with a woman.
Day before.
Is it day before? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, remember the night before.
Was the night before?
Yeah, prostitutes.
There's
a couple of different theories that come in.
When you say prostitutes, I'm seeing Rapanga Rapanga in Japan.
Oh,
Roppongi.
When you say prostitute, and you see, and I see fighters, and I see that whore that was around me, and when I lost, I see that whore is around other guy. Yakuza has really been active, in all those pride fights.
Oh yeah, they got you helped out there at the end. Very interesting. Mike,
you want to take it away, Chris? We're good.
Oh, well, hey, I just really want to thank you, Oleg, for your time. I mean, you're a legend in the sport. Everybody who watched the UFC knows who you are. Well-deserved. Great stories. Thank you very much for your time, and we really appreciate you talking to us for a little bit. Thank you.
No, guys, I enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Hope you guys grow.
So much. Thank you. That'd be great. And, it's definitely great to catch up with the legends, the guys that were there at the very, very beginning. And Oleg, no one can take that away from you, even if Dana wants to ignore it. It's just a fact. And that's what we're here for, to record history. So thank you very much.
Well, if I get a big film and the film will be successful, I'll be in the Hall of Fame for sure.
Exactly. If it helps them out, it will.
Well, anyway, thank you very, very much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Night. Check out the full interview on iTunes, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms.